Hello everybody, it is Steph Davis here from flipthiswholesaler.net, and I am here on an absolutely gorgeous Saturday afternoon with another reader mail question for you guys. So my question today actually comes from my Facebook wall, and it says, this is about transactional funding. It says, "Hey Steph, I understand that a company called Tailwind Funding provides 100% funds for your A to B transaction when wholesaling real estate. My question is as follows. Would I get charged a surcharge just for using that service? Also, does the end buyer have to come up with the funds for the B2C closing transaction? Hope to hear from you soon." All right, so Brandon has some questions here about transactional funding. The first question was, is there a fee charged? Actually, let me backtrack here a second, just for the people that are watching that might not know what transactional funding is. Transactional funding is used for wholesale transactions with, say, like bank-owned properties or short sales where you can't assign the contract. So instead of assigning the contract, what you have to do as a wholesaler is actually close on it and then resell it. So there are actually two separate transactions taking place, as opposed to like a regular wholesale deal with a private seller where you can just put the property under contract and then assign the contract to your end buyer. So transactional funding comes into play in those instances where you can't assign the contract and you actually have to close on it yourself. So a lot of wholesalers, especially beginners, they don't have the cash, or they can't get a loan to actually close on the transaction themselves. So what you can do is use transactional funding. The one that I recommend is Tailwind Funding, and there's actually a link to it on my blog. It's owned by my good friend Brian Midam. But what transactional funding allows you to do, they will provide 100% funding for your deal, not the earnest money, just the actual purchase price. And they don't check your credit. They don't, there's no like background check or credit check or anything like that. The only stipulation is that you have to have an end buyer lined up and under contract to buy that property from you. So they'll only fund the deal if you have the end buyer in place. So that makes it it's beneficial for wholesalers who want to flip REOs or short sales and they don't actually have the cash to close on the deal. And so to answer your question, back to your question, is there a surcharge involved? And yes, there is. There are fees involved with transactional funding. So, if you're going to go that route, you need to make sure to factor those costs into your offer. The second part of your question, actually, I don't remember what the second part of your question was. Let me look here really quick. Does the end buyer have to come up with the funds for the B to C closing? Yes. The end buyer will bring, whatever the purchase price. Say you're buying it from the bank for $60,000 and your end buyer is buying it from you for $70,000. When you show up to closing, the transactional lender will wire the $60,000 to the title company for your end of the transaction, the A to B part of the transaction, and then your end buyer will bring in the cash for the B2C transaction. So they would bring $70,000 to purchase the property. So if you have any further questions, if I didn't explain something fully, feel free to leave them below in the comments. And I will also put a link under this video to the Tailwind Funding website, so you can check out what their fees are, and it kind of goes into detail a little more about how it all works. Another thing that Tailwind provides is proof of funds letters to submit with your offers. If you're going to be making offers on MLS listed properties, I think they're $2 or something like that, or $9.99 for unlimited per month. So I'll put a link to that right underneath this video. Again, if you have any further questions, feel free to leave them below in the comments, and if anyone else would like to add their 2 cents, feel free to do so in the comments. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.